Hi everybody, today we're just going to be looking at the music and songs of autumn and of the season itself and what it may make us feel or how we react to it or whatever. And maybe there's songs that you feel are particularly pertinent to your own life in autumn. I'm just going to share a few records here related to it. Now one of my previous videos was me wistfully looking out of a window and called it Autumn Window. Just a few instant spontaneous thoughts. So this is partly as a result of that. You see, James Griffiths watched that and he messaged me and said, I watched your video and it reminded me of this particular song. Now this is the song it reminded him of, and I have every opportunity to show this record. I would show it every video if I could. This is Telltale's Rainbow, the children's songs, etc. On here is a track called Autumn's Really Here, which really does have a lovely feel to it. It's just, it does conjure the season so well. And it's not all childish stuff, this is like a real sort of folk album really. And a remarkable thing about this to the people in the UK and even worldwide who may know this particular person, the person who, one of these guys who co-wrote this particular theme tune, that lovely, jaunty, super catchy, memorable song, was this guy, Captain Hastings from the series Poirot, Hugh Fraser. That's quite remarkable, isn't it? He was in Telltale before he made it so big in acting. He also he was working in a folk group. But that, Captain Hastings wrote that fantastic song, and in fact, numerous things on here. I love that kind of little bit of information. But autumn, the music playing in the background is this. Autumnal chamber music by Thomas Hyde. And I think it really does conjure up something of the wind through the trees and the kind of the blusteriness of autumn and the changes in the season itself. But see, autumn and autumn songs, they tend to have a kind of, maybe a totally plaintive quality. The typical, things like moving into the decay, moving into a kind of a sorrowful time almost, where we're regretting that summer is leaving. Now, a lot of people say, well, autumn is their favourite period of the year. Or fall. I'm not going to keep saying fall, I'm saying autumn because I'm English. But it's autumn. And to me, it has a similar thing. It does have that feel. It has a slightly sorrowful feel to it. There are things that kind of keep you, the signposts of autumn in a way. We have festivals. In the past, of course, it's something which is not actually really bothered with, particularly unless in high church or something. Harvest festivals, when of course the changing of the seasons and the rejoicing over the new food and the new crops and everything, that the food to sustain people through winter was celebrated. Because that's gone. Now everyone just hangs on to Halloween and in Guy Fawkes Night and whatnot. But it was very, very meaningful. And of course there were songs, harvest songs, whether they be hymns or whether they be folk tunes about the harvest itself. Of course our world has changed dramatically and we don't bother because of the huge amount of stuff that's available everywhere. But I just thought I'd have a quick look through the shelves. Obviously a few songs came to mind. I just picked a few records out at random. It's surprising just how many of them had a song about autumn in. Now, I haven't pulled a bit of them. So another one came to mind. Peter Hamill, Summer Song in the Autumn. But here is a very famous piece of music, Autumn Leaves. Now I'm showing this one because it's vocal. Now most of the time, so many jazz albums have it, but it's just the instrumental. Now the instrumental fundamentally it loses something. I'm going to read the lyrics here. It was originally written in French. This is the English version. I'm just going to read it out. The falling leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves are red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter's song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. Yes, I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. The classic sense of loss, that's obviously a regret about someone who's gone, something has passed, and the sense of the season of autumn encapsulates that, doesn't it? It has that thing about something good has gone, and there's almost like there's worse to come. Or there's a sort of time of it's okay now to kind of grieve and to be sorrowful, and autumn seems to allow that. When we think of spring, we don't consider sorrow, unless, of course, you think about Good Friday, and even that is very, for a short time, people who have any kind of Christian faith would go, well, there's my sorrowful moment, but then 2 days later, hey, we think of autumn in that way. Now, there are other pieces of music that I was just finding, there are plenty of songs about autumn. It would be great if you could do your own videos about any songs that have autumn in the title or which are about autumn. I just picked a few just at random, I was pulling them out. Oh look, there's another one, This is for Tony Kinsey Quintet, Time Gentlemen Please, and the first song is Autumn in Cuba. So that's a slightly different angle to it, but it still has that kind of quality, It still has something about that sort of plaintiveness. And this, let me just see, where am I going with? I've only got 2 or 3 other records to show here, but I think we'll just go as we go. Okay, this is just a beautiful, beautiful song. This is Françoise Hardy, sings in English. Now, I rarely listen to her music, I'll be honest, but I do like the English lyrics and the English vocal. It really has, it's just something about it. I mean, look at that wonderful picture of her there. But this last piece, Autumn Rendezvous, this last song, just gorgeous, gorgeous. Again, classically summing up autumn. Now, the thing is, you find a lot of songs in autumn are about relationships, or about the loss of relationships, the loss of that kind of thing. Less so about necessarily mentioning the words, like in Autumn Leaves, very, very specifically, the leaves, etc., and the changing of the season is very evocative of the situation. But there's a lot of things. I mean, Autumn in New York is actually perhaps more of a positive song. You hear Ella and Louis version, and it's a more positive thing. It's about the hope of finding love in New York. Because autumn doesn't last, Before you know it, winter is here, and it's a very different thing again. Of course, a lot of culture will celebrate Christmas, and that itself is something to look forward to, the darkest depths of winter as it is in the northern hemisphere. But it's a time where you can enjoy almost the melancholy of life. Let me just show you a couple of other things here. Panufnik, I've shown this once before. There's a wonderful piece of music here called Autumn Music. Now, I'll just read a little bit about what he says. He says, Autumn music is written in memory of a friend who, after a long, incurable illness, experienced her last autumn in 1960. In this work, I was responding to the end of a suffering human life, and to the season of autumn with all its manifestations in nature. So powerful that first sentence, wasn't it? Experienced her last autumn in 1960. And I think about that kind of thing quite often. I think about when people die. I think about the things that actually made that person that person. We look back, we look at achievements, and we think about their families and what they left behind, etc. But I like to think about all of the aspects of that person, or of our lives. We have to spend so much of our lives in a sort of suffering state of, even the irritations, like I want to itch my nose right now. All of these little movements that we do, all of these little things like putting the salt on our dinner, and the stuff that we're tying up the bag to throw the rubbish out, all of these things that we take for granted, all of these things that these people, we all spend time doing. They may seem like infinitesimally ridiculous and who cares, but there's something about when you see a video of someone who was alive and is now dead, and you see them just doing mundane things, it's really quite powerful and pertinent and quite moving. And they're the things that kind of affect me in a way more than, yes, okay, he achieved this and he achieved that, wonderful, great, but it's what it is to be human, what it is to go through life and feel and deal with all of the stuff we have to deal with all the time. And there's a sort of bravery in it, I mean, maybe I'm going too far. It's just the way I see it. Anyway, I'm going to end on one last, because I think this music is almost finished. Rosehip November, Vashti Bunyan. Now, an absolutely classic album, of course, of wistful folk. But here you see, she was capturing in that particular song something which poets do, something which she knew when she saw it she was going to keep forever. I'll just read these words out, and it was just, these are the moments I know, but she'll, in her memory, it'll always be there as she remembered it, as she wrote it at the time. And I know these moments because I've done it myself. Rosehip November, autumn I'll remember, gold landing at our door. Catch one leaf, and fortune will surround you evermore. Pine tree very tall, waiting for snow to fall. Mist hangs very still, caught by dawn in castle moats around the sleeping hill. Now a pipe is heard, happy is the shepherd, shepherdess and dog, father of the pasture land and mother of the flock. Rosehip November, autumn I'll remember, gold landing at our door. Catch one leaf, and fortune will surround you evermore, evermore, evermore. Now her young son was called Leif, L-E-I-F. And so she was obviously watching him grabbing these, and the song and the moment and everything came to her, and she remembered it, and it becomes a memory which she'll never forget. It's encapsulated. And the wonderful imagery there of the hope of like, catch one of these and this is going to be wonderful, life will be amazing. Just a beautiful sentiment. But anyway, I'll probably leave it there, and if you have any songs which relate to autumn, it'd be fantastic to know what they are. I mean, there are many I could have chosen, but it would be lovely. I mean, obviously Autumn Almanac with Kinks, etc. But it'd be great to hear what you think about all of this, and thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you later.